Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. Now it's safe to say that WWE have smashed it out the park yet again when it comes to this Uncle Howdy storyline progression. This video reveal via Twitch was genius, it was creepy, it was eerie, it was next level creative, and creative actually deserve a raise for this. You know full well that Wyndham is smiling in heaven, so proud of his brother for honouring his legacy and continuing this Bray Wyatt genius storytelling to this day, because we cannot forget about Bray Wyatt when we talk about this video in particular, and of course this latest Uncle Howdy storyline, because if it weren't for Bray, none of this would be possible. If you've subscribed to this channel for a while, you know we put the wildest theories out, and often we're right with them, sometimes we're wrong, but we like to think outside the box, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to give my personal opinion. Now, first and foremost, I thought it was genius. Absolute genius. Watching this therapy session unfold, which clearly was prior to the image reveals that we had not so long ago. Of course, we saw those creepy notes, the mirror on the wall, of course, the hair falling out, blonde hair / grey hair. We'll get onto that in a moment. So we now know that the therapy session took place some time ago. We don't know, we don't have a timestamp on it, but we know that those images, that flooring and everything was inside this therapy session. Now we know, of course, that the therapist has gone missing. We don't know where, potentially to that creepy compound, the destination that others have gone to seemingly. We don't know, we'll have to find out. But I want to get to the point with who is in that chair. Now I personally believe it's Bo Dallas in that chair, not Uncle Howdy. And I'm going to explain it the clearest way I possibly can. Let's not forget, before we try and solve this mystery, that Uncle Howdy was part of Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was Uncle Howdy. He even said himself, I am the eater of worlds. I am Uncle Howdy, I am him, i.e. the Fiend, this new version of the Fiend we never got to see. Bray's darkest alter ego was the Fiend, but Uncle Howdy was part of his darkest psyche. Let's not forget that Uncle Howdy exposed Bray Wyatt's lies. He revealed a therapy session, a psychological evaluation before, remember? When it clearly shown that he struggled to show empathy to others, etc, etc. So Bray Wyatt had therapy, so it is well possible this is maybe a flashback to a Bray Wyatt therapy session, but in this current narrative, I believe it's Bo Dallas. Now, if we know that Uncle Howdy was part of Bray Wyatt's darkest psyche, eventually got Bray Wyatt to fully embrace the darkness, we knew that was coming, right, via this new version of The Fiend, which we would have got, which, by the way, he said The Fiend was dead, and he wasn't. We know there were so many lies. We also know that Bo Dallas portrayed Uncle Howdy to protect his brother, to cover his lies. It was even in the lyrics of Shatter, lie for me brother, use me for cover. Yes, we saw Bo Dallas portraying Uncle Howdy physically, but that doesn't mean that Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas, or Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. He was protecting Bray, right? But that's not to say, and this is where it gets a little bit complicated, that Uncle Howdy is dead. He's not. Uncle Howdy is forever. Uncle Howdy can be anything he wants to be. And that's what I believe we saw passed on at the end of that Bray Wyatt documentary, when of course we saw the lantern light up with the Uncle Howdy silhouette in the background. That to me said that Uncle Howdy, aka Bray Wyatt's spirit, now lives within Bo Dallas. His brother is reminding him who he is, to embrace the darkness, to bring out his best self with his own family. And I know this is getting a little bit deep, but the hair that we saw in that image, of course, part of that therapy session, I believe that is actually Bo Dallas shedding the hairpiece that he used to wear when he was portraying Uncle Howdy. He no longer has to protect his brother's lies. He can embrace Uncle Howdy psychologically. He no longer needs to do that. He can revel in who he is and bring out his deepest, darkest alter ego, his new creation. And I think it's absolute genius. I believe that's Bo Dallas in that therapy session, battling his emotions, trying to resist the darkness, just like what we saw with Bray Wyatt. But it's not working. His brother is pushing him. Uncle Howdy is pushing him. And this is where we are potentially seeing Taylor Rotunda and his darkest alter ego. Is that the figure we saw at the end of this therapy session? Is that Bo Dallas's fiend? Bo Dallas is going to run this family with Uncle Howdy, the voice, the ghost in the machine, in the background, just like with Bray. And I think that's such a lovely way to honour the legacy of Bray Wyatt, because you've essentially got Bray Wyatt and his voice in Bo Dallas's head, getting him to do dark things and get people to bring out their best self. You look at Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, potentially Alexa Bliss, which I do think is going to be part of this faction at a later date, and Joe Gacy. These are all characters that can finally revel in who they are and be their best versions of themselves. We know that Uncle Howdy was a figure that haunted Bray Wyatt in his childhood, and now Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt are doing the same with Bo Dallas, but in the most lovable, brotherly way. He wants his brother to have his own legacy, and therefore he's giving him that little nudge. All you needed was a little push. This time it's Bray doing the pushing, and I really, really love that. And I love the subtleties with this video as well. The black and the red books in the background, very Fiend-esque. You got the coffee cup on the floor, potentially an Alexa Bliss reference, and very clearly, of course, that mirror was the same mirror we saw in those images previous. It kept flashing up with the words of the red. When you think of the words of the red, you think of the Fiend as well. You think of darkness. You think of that Uncle Howdy mask with the red eyes that always used to pop up as well. And of course, when the therapist asked, who are these people? We then got the Nightbird theme, the disappearance of the therapist, and that seemingly snapped Bo Dallas. If this is Bo Dallas, so is that the trigger there? Is Bo Dallas finally going to set these people free from this destination, this unknown destination that these members are in, release them into the WWE universe, and then they can all revel in who they are? I actually think it's a very simple storyline plot if you have Bo Dallas getting influenced by Uncle Howdy, aka Bray Wyatt, psychologically, and going on and starting his own family. Just makes sense from a storyline perspective, and Bray would be happy with that as well. Now, of course, there's so many questions about who opened the door, can you keep a secret, and all of this, and what that's going to lead to. But ultimately, what if that's the Firefly Funhouse door, and we actually see the Firefly Funhouse come to life just like Bray had in his vision, but it's Bo Dallas as the ringleader with his new darker alter ego. I just think a lot of fans are getting carried away with Uncle Howdy and linking this to Bo Dallas physically. I just don't think that is what we're going to see play out. I think Bo Dallas is going to get his very own darker alter ego, potentially that character that we saw at the end of the video. And remember, Uncle Howdy is everything. I am all of us. He even said it in the weather report segment way back when. Uncle Howdy can influence people. He was influencing Alexa Bliss. He was getting her to understand that she was not the one in charge and he was the one in charge because he is all of them. It's kind of like a Negan Walking Dead kind of theory that everybody in the group is Uncle Howdy because Uncle Howdy is everything, right? I don't think Bo Dallas is going to portray him physically. I'm just so intrigued to see what happens next, honestly. So many subtleties in that video. Like, I'm going to have to watch it again, all close to an hour worth of it, just to see if I've missed anything. But of course, we saw the flashbacks from the previous QR codes, similar images that we've seen before. I think we're getting very close to this final reveal. At the moment, all we can speculate is that Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis and Eric Rowan are potentially being held at this unknown destination with this therapist. Potentially, right? Are they finally going to get released? Was this the snapping point for Bo Dallas in this therapy session to finally reveal this secret? We will see this secret. There's a lot of secrecy going on here, right? Are we finally going to see that secret revealed and drip teased over time? But what do you think? Get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions, your wildest theories, your comments on the video. What do you think is going down with this Uncle Howdy storyline? When do you think it's going to be revealed? It's so juicy. And thank you so much for watching the video. As always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you in the next one.